Hey guys, we're back, and I just wanted to do some testing on my newly modified Uniflow, and the only difference basically that this has is instead of the standard Uniflow, that standard has a 1/2 inch drum. This one has a 5/16 drum. So you might ask, well, why would you do that? Well, I did it because I wanted to see if I could get a little more accuracy on the very, very small charges, you know, the 2 grain charges in that realm, especially with some of the better and some of the worst flowing powders. So getting right into it, here's the results. And let me back up for 1 second. Part of the test was, does the 5/16 drum matter? And the other one was, when some guys do their process and they run a cycle, they just do that. That's one cycle. We call that one tap. And some guys like to do a couple taps, and some other guys, you know, the overachievers, maybe, I don't know, but they go, oh no, they must do 3 taps. So we added that in as a kind of a twist. So right to the chase, here's our numbers, and just a little bit of quick explanation. I measured these with my RCBS beam scale. Obviously, it does not read 3 places. Those are measured to a 1/10, but I set up a magnifying glass in front of it, and I would visually gauge as best I could whether it was closer to a 1/2 grain mark or a 3/4 of a grain or a 1/4 grain. That was it. So that's why the numbers run the way they do. And basically, the 1/2 inch drum, I have done previous tests, and that does seem to perform better with a baffle. And previous tests I've done with the 5/16 rotor suggest it runs better without a baffle. So that is the only difference. Trying to give each one their best showing and see what we got. And as you know, tight group flows really nice to begin with. So skipping down right to the answer, basically, you can see our range is pretty darn good with more taps. It's really good with even 1 tap. Our SD is fantastic, is even better with more taps. And with the 1/2 inch drum, you can see we jumped up to a range of a 1/10. Not markedly worse, but a little bit worse. And you can see that our SDs roughly doubled. So does that matter to you? I don't know. But, you know, you don't just make a new part and call it good without doing some testings to say it is either good, it is either not good, or it is either unchanged. So in this case, I would say it is an improvement. And simply by having the range go down, I like that when you work with those smaller charges. So, and the SDs are fantastic. So how does it work with, say, a not so great flowing powder like Unique? Well, you can see here we have the range, right? Kind of what you'd expect for Unique, though that's not too bad. That's definitely not too bad. SDs 03, 04, 03, so 039. So actually the SDs didn't improve here with more taps. You actually had a little better performance with one single tap, pretty much across the board. And is that true with the 1/2 inch rotor? No, not so much. The extra taps with the 1/2 inch rotor got you a little bit increase in performance. Not much from 2 to 3, but a little bit. So basically, there it is in a nutshell, guys. You can take that data, you can accept it the way I did it, you can ignore it, and do whatever you'd like. It just tells me that I'm glad I spent the time to test it. I'm glad I spent the time to make the rotor, and I feel a little bit better about doing those really small charges. Okie doke, guys. Have a good one. Until next time, see ya.